We're going to learn the COPS method today. If you take the word COPS and use each letter in COPS, it stands for a step in the throwing process. C stands for center, O stands for open, P stands for pull, and S stands for shape. We have our clay. We use a bat system in the studio. The bat system fits over bolts on the wheel. Make sure the surface is dry. Place the clay in the center, and we're ready to start. Wheel speed is the first issue. To do the COPS method, we want to use the greatest amount of wheel speed first for throwing and centering. Position on the clay. If you drew a line between your knees, it should almost go through the center of the clay. Very good to have a strong position. The clay needs to be wet. First letter in COPS is center. My elbows are on my legs. This hand comes in at 8 o'clock. This hand comes in at 4 o'clock if we refer to this as a clock. Noon, 3, 6, and 9. Thumb pushes down on top. Hands are kept firm. A lot of force to stay still. Release slowly. A centered ball of clay looks like the wheel on a car. It's completely symmetrical. If the clay looks like that, it looks like a flat tire on a car. That's not centered. Centering is complete. Next step in the COPS method is opening. Elbows on your legs, hands come to the clay, thumb tips come together with your knuckles touching, pressure in the center downward, keeping your thumb still, pause and release slowly. There's 2 steps in opening. The first is to make the hole, the second is to pull your thumbs apart and make the hole wider. You'll notice how water is very important. You do not want your hands sticking to the clay. I'm just flattening out the bottom. The next issue is well, how will you determine the thickness of the bottom? On this vessel that I'm making right now, I want the bottom to be very thin. One way is to tell the difference between this surface and the surface of the bat. More experienced potters can tell the difference in those 2 surfaces. I can tell that this is just a little over 1/8 of an inch. Another method is to stop the wheel and to slide a needle into the bottom of the clay. Slide your finger down the shaft to the bottom, hold on, and there we go. That's the best way of determining thickness on the bottom. Now we've done 2 things. We've centered the clay and we've opened the clay. We're ready for the 3rd step in the COPS method, which is P and stands for pull. Referring to this as a clock again, pulling happens at 4 o'clock. My inside position involves my index finger, the side of the index finger. That positions itself inside at 4. My outside position is also my index finger braced with my other fingers and my thumb. That positions itself outside at 4. Pulling involves squeezing the clay gently and lifting to the lip. When you reach the lip, you pause and release slowly. After each pull, we can compress the lip by containing the clay with the left hand fingers and pushing down with the sponge from the right hand. Another thing involved with pulling that's very important is that our pressure points are on line with each other. If we don't have alignment and we're squeezing, we're twisting the clay. And so we want to maintain alignment between our pressure points. That's very important. Let's do another pull. Initiate at the bottom, squeeze the clay, and gently lift it. When you reach the lip, pause and release slowly, and you can notice the alignment. Water once again is applied for lubrication. My vessel is getting taller, so I'm going to go to my middle finger to pull with on the inside. Squeezing and slowly lifting. When you reach the lip, pause and release slowly. You'll notice that water accumulates in the bottom, and periodically that should be removed. Now we've done 3 things. We've centered, we've opened, and we've pulled. The final maneuver in throwing is called shaping. That's S in caps. Shaping is different than pulling. The difference is that when you're pulling, you're squeezing. When we're shaping, we're just directing clay. To make the form go outward, the inside finger pushes out and the outside finger yields to that motion. To make the form go in, the outside finger pushes in and the inside finger yields to that pressure. And you can see that we're getting shape. One aid in shaping is using a potter's rip. This can be pressed on the outside as one lifts, and it can be used for smoothing or even shaping. If I press a little harder, it makes a stronger indentation into the form. And so we've made a simple cup form. I'm going to just smooth the lip. I'll remove any excess water from the inside. I'll take my wooden modeling tool and prepare to cut the vessel free from the wheel. I do that by making a notch underneath the piece, which will allow my wire tool the ability to track underneath the form. I keep it down and I keep it tight as the wheel's moving. The final thing I do is remove the cup by gently caressing it, lifting it on one side, and lifting up. And that is a simple demonstration of using the COPS method.